Hello, my friends, and welcome to this love reading dedicated to single people. When you're ready, the timestamps are down below. I'll see you there. Hello, pile 1, and welcome to this, your love reading. Now we have your Celtic cross here, and I'm just going to get started on showing you what the cards are. The Six of Cups. As what the root of the reading is going to be about, the challenge is the Ten of Swords. In the past, we have the Queen of Swords reversed. In the near future, we have the Knight of Wands reversed. In your waking mind, we have the Seven of Cups. Your subconscious, the Knight of Cups. You are being represented by the Star. The environment, the Four of Swords reversed. The Hermit as your hope and fear. And in the final outcome, we have the Emperor reversed. The Six of Pentacles and Judgment. Underneath the deck, we had the Eight of Pentacles. At the root of this message, where we're starting from, is the Six of Cups, which demonstrates what looks like two childlike figures interacting with each other, and there being an exchange between the two of them. And more, it's not really an exchange because it's a gift. So nostalgia is one of the traditional associations with this card. Well, how I'm seeing it in your love reading here is either a specific relationship with that has a long history, you have a lot of memories with, or it's like the way you generally tend to remain in the energies of your old and past relationships. And the challenge is the Ten of Swords, which is the death of something, the conclusion of something in the present, but the promise of something better in the future with the shining sun in the horizon. And that's the challenge, is that you struggle to basically, in essence, kill off these old energies from the past. This is supported by the Queen of Swords reversed. The Queen of Swords upwards is someone who her head is above clouds, so her judgment isn't clouded. She is able to move clearly and intentionally through any obstacle in front of her, while also remaining open to any new possibilities, because this is someone who understands that they have to honor the way that they feel over past experiences, but they're open to life because that's the only way to have new experiences. So not allowing past experiences to get in the way of new experiences. And so reversed, it's, the clouds are now on top of the card. And so it is your judgment clouded. It is an incapacity to successfully cut away from something in the past because of its positioning. And in the near future, with the Knight of Wands reversed, you're not in any hurry to move away from this energy that you're lingering in. All nights are about active action, about moving forward. And Wands is quick energy, so it's about moving quickly, so that's where I get like no rush. But the thing about a knight is that they are soldiers, and so they go and battle, right? So a knight that doesn't go into battle cannot get their victories. And so this energy of you not really participating in the efforts of moving on from this thing in the past, either again a single relationship or just multiple relationships that you dwell on. Why this happens is because you're a hopeless romantic, and you're a hopeless romantic and you fantasize about the continuing of these relationships, because we start with the 6 and then we continue to the 7 in the waking mind. So this is what is in your conscious awareness, this is what's in your subconscious, so what you might not be fully aware of. So moving from the 6 to the 7, the continuing, right, from 6 to 7 of Cups. So maintaining the energy, but not only maintaining it, expanding upon it. So expanding on this thing from the past. The 7 of Cups is also about fantasies and a whole bunch of options. So you're trying, like, a whole bunch of options I'm interpreting here as you just keeping this relationship or these relationships as options for yourself. And even if you don't really, you're not actually going to put any action upon those fantasies, it's the fact that you're leaving space for these fantasies that's really preventing from anything new from coming in. But I digress, because in your subconscious we have the Knight of Cups, which again, all knights are action, but cups are emotion, so emotional action. You are subconsciously driven by your emotions, and so this subconscious, your emotions are rooted in this nostalgia, in this past that you can't cut away from, that you fantasize about expanding. And it's because of this subconscious drive towards romance, towards placating your feelings and your fantasies. And that is continued by the Star, with this position being about how you fit in the present moment, in this circumstance. So in regards to love, in your love life, the Star, which is, I should probably cover that. Too late now. The Star, I mean, look, Cups, she's handling water, and, Cups being about like fantasy and emotions. So, but the thing is that the Star has so many beautiful interpretations and so many wonderful things that it means. But what I'm interpreting it as here is how, one, there isn't any diving into the water. It's just staying at a safe depth. In fact, her foot doesn't even pierce through the water, so she's not actually like immersing herself into those feelings. It's like if the water is the fantasies, your negligence to dip into those fantasies is how you're not actually bringing them down into reality. It's just fantasy. It's just something that you are looking at. It's just something that you're playing with, kind of like how she's playing with this water and just looking at it, not really acting upon it, not really diving into it. And honestly, even the fact that she's naked in the context of this reading kind of supports that idea of you like fantasizing about these things. If you kind of catch my drift there, if you don't worry about it, I guess. But like, the Star in its traditional meaning is of the ways in which, or rather things that are out of reach. Like stars, right? We can stare at them, but they're only really like, we can only look at them at night, and it has to be a clear night. And throughout the year and throughout the seasons, the stars shift around, so it's not the same stars all the time. So it's like it's something unattainable, just like this thing that you dwell on. It's not something that you can grasp. It's not something that you can ground. It's not ever going to be more than a fantasy. And that's how you fit into your love life, where you're stuck in this place of not being able to move past the stage of fantasizing, past the stage of you dreaming about it. And that's where you stay at. You can't move to the part where you're actually bringing that down into reality. The environment itself, the environment that you're, okay, how do I word this in the context of this reading? Like, the current environment that your love life is like at, if that makes sense. Like, if your love life were like a house, that would be represented by the Four of Swords reversed. What do I mean by that? The Four of Swords upwards is a card of repose, of relaxation, of stopping, of reflection, and of giving ourselves time and space to process whatever we need to process. So it's a card of stopping and processing. Reverse, then it's there not being any space to process. You're not stopping long enough to relax and reflect on what it is that needs to be reflected upon. These two cards together, the fact that there's a struggle to ground from fantasies and put effort into what an actual physical relationship might look like with someone with potential. And the environment itself is one. Okay. The reversal is indicating your refusal to stop and pause and reflect on, how much all of this fantasy is costing you, how you're actually being guided towards cutting away from all of this and putting an end to it. And why I'm referring to these cards is because swords here. And so because you're fantasizing, because you're paying attention this direction of all of this fantasy, and you being comfortable there, you're not. Okay, let's go with the full story here. So Jessica Dore, if you don't know who that is, she's a tarot reader herself. She writes. She's on Instagram and Twitter. Check her out. Wrote once about the Four of Swords, and she connected it to this historical practice where in the olden days, knights would commission their sarcophagi, coffins, these ornate, coffins, before they would go to war, so that everything would be ready should the worst happen. And if they survived, they would come back, and part of the ritual was for them to lay within this coffin or sarcophagus and reflect and repose and be grateful that they survived, but also give penance and ask for forgiveness for the lives that they took for the cause, right? And so again, it's about honoring the feelings that you have, stopping for as long as you need to really give yourself the time and space to, in this case, really again reflect on how this fantasy is costing you, why it's time to let it go, and if it's about there not being closure there, giving yourself that, why, giving yourself the time to process why these things didn't work out, why they went the way that they went, and giving yourself the time and space to figure out how it is that you're going to move forward. All of that requires space, and all of that requires a pause in this fantasy. It not even just a pause, an active separation from it. The hope and the fear is the Hermit. The Hermit is wisdom and isolation. And both of these kind of go with the theme here, where the Four of Swords, the environment that you're being asked to step into, is one of repose and reflection, of a pause, right? And the way that you're doing things. And the hermit is someone who has separated from any past influences, anything that dictated life before. And so that's why we see him here on top of a summit by himself, guided only by this lantern, and that lantern being kind of a symbol for our inner guiding light, like intuition, kind of like how a lantern can only shine so far ahead of us, so we're not really meant to see the whole picture, just the next few steps, like intuition. And part of trusting that process only comes through experience, and like that's true wisdom. So, you know, this old man, you're hoping for this separation, you're hoping to gain wisdom from all of this. I mean, that's why you're here tuning into tarot, right? Because you're wanting for there to be movement. Well, you're being told that movement isn't going to happen towards the past, it can only happen towards the future, an old man, the future. And it can only happen after a proper pause to reflect on all of these things, and really, like it's a coffin, putting it to bed, putting it to rest, so that new things can blossom over these things that you've laid to rest. The final outcome, we have the Six of Pentacles, and what I love about the way that these cards, the way that they landed, is that the Six of Pentacles here in the center, it's a symmetrical card, meaning that what I mean by that is that there's this central figure and two other figures on the sides, and on either side of the card, this is a middle card, we have two majors, and one of them reversed and the other one upwards, which even the Six of Pentacles has this imagery of balancing two energies. And so on the one hand, we have one reversed, which is what you're being advised to move away from, and the one that's upwards, which is what you're being advised to take up. The Emperor is indicative of masculine energy. Whether the person that we are talking about is masculine or not doesn't matter. The Emperor here is representing all of these things in the past. Either the single person that you've been dwelling on, or this can be representing all of these things, relationships and people in the past that you've dwelled on. And it's coming up reversed because, again, you're being asked to lay that to rest now, to defeat those things, lay them to rest, and take up judgment, which is what happens after. I mean, what is represented here is the biblical interpretation of Judgment Day, which is when God will come to claim his believers and they'll all rise up to heaven. And so the card is, in essence, the moment where the outcome is going to be decided based on, like, all of the consequences are about to be revealed based on how you decided to play things leading up to this moment. And so it's not so much indicating that, there's going to be a judgment day and one day God's going to judge you for the way that you handle. No, none of that. But rather what's being said is, if you don't move away from this, if you don't actively defeat this Emperor energy, it will affect your future. It is going to have consequences that linger. And why do I say that linger? Because the final outcome has two majors. In fact, it's only here in the side of the future that we have the majors. So the consequences of how you handle things now moving into the future, and especially if you're, how you handle things now will impact the future heavily. If you are successful in moving away from all of this, in recognizing the ways in which you linger in fantasy and don't allow for the future to blossom, that is going to reflect in the way that things pan out moving forward. And the same can be said for, like, vice versa, where whether or not you defeat this thing, whether you linger in it, whether you move on from it, that is going to severely impact the way things look in the future for you. Underneath the deck, we had the Eight of Pentacles reversed. The Eight of Pentacles upwards is, this dude is working, right? And so he's creating his work is resulting in the stock that he's going to be able to basically sell, is one of that kind of how I interpret this. And so if it's reversed, it's you putting in all this effort for something that you're not going to be able to gain any profit from. I hate talking in terms of like capital because I hate capitalism, but like that's kind of the essence of this card. It's when it's reversed, it's the effort that we're putting in not really paying out. It's not what we gain from our effort isn't equal to the effort we put in. And so all of this basically saying very clearly, very succinctly, you need to let go of the past. You need to let go of this relationship that you have been lingering on for far too long, because you're now being told that if you don't, it will impact the way you move into the future. One of the ways that I'm kind of seeing this happening is if you aren't careful, you're going to normalize fixating on these fantasies and the past to the point where anything new and anything pertaining to the future will make you incredibly uncomfortable, and you won't be able to move forward and you won't be able to grow, despite the fact that the world and everyone around you will continue to grow. And that's what I mean. It's like after some time, you're going to notice how the world around you has moved on and you are still stuck in this energy. So this was a bit of tough love. I was honestly kind of not expecting that. This is only the first pile, and I was kind of hoping that these would be light and fun love readings. You know what? I'm not like, I want for this to be, I don't want to leave you on this harsh note, because it's kind of like that, the scary thing of like, it's a warning, right, of what could happen if you aren't careful. So I'm actually going to grab my Lenormand deck, and I'm just going to finish your reading with a comforting message for you. Actually, never mind. It's going to be tarot. I'm using another tarot deck. And I don't have any space to shuffle, so you're just going to have to trust me on this one. Well, I can move these things because you already got this. No. I'll leave it, and I'll be back in a second. So you must be stubborn, or the universe is tired of coddling you, apparently, because even when I'm asking for a message of comfort, there is one of urgency. The Queen of Cups reversed is basically saying that there is no more emotional effort or labor that can be placed upon these fantasies. There's no more space for your capacity, your emotional capacity here. There's no space for that. There's no space for your feelings in any of these fantasies or these things. Those fantasies can't reciprocate the feelings that you're pouring into them. The Three of Wands reversed is indicating that there's nowhere to ascend into. These are just like fantasies, like the star. This isn't something you can actually climb up towards. It's not something you can work your way towards. And so the final message, the Nine of Wands, she's moving through this kind of tribulation, but successfully, courageously. And so if there is any comfort here, it's that you do have the courage, the capacity to successfully maneuver through these fantasies and all of this work here. It's just about stepping into it and away from these things towards what you're being guided towards. The future card was like Wands, Wands is about spirituality, inner fire. The last card here is Wands. So kind of what I'm getting with this Wands energy, which is again about like our inner fire and spirituality, intuition, being guided, what we're being guided towards away from these things. And even the Hermit is utilizing a wand, even though he's a major card. So trust your gut, trust your intuition, what your intuition is telling you, and have faith that your efforts away from all of this and to step away from all of this will pay off in the end, in the long haul. And again, just as a reminder of that heavy message of, if you aren't careful, this will impact how you're moving in the future. And even in the message of comfort, it's like there's no space for that. Like, move away from this. I really, really hope this helped. Please take care of yourself. All my best. Bye. Hello, pile number 2, and welcome to your love reading. We start with the Ace of Cups reversed. The challenge is the 5 of Pentacles. In the past, we have strength. In the near future, judgment. In your conscious mind, the 9 of Swords. The word anxiety immediately came to mind. In your subconscious, the Ace of Wands reversed. You in your current environment, in your current love life, are being represented by the 2 of Swords. The environment itself is being represented by the 9 of Cups. Nice. The hope and the fear is the 6 of Cups. The final outcome, we have the Knight of Swords reversed, the 6 of Pentacles, and the Knight of Cups reversed. And underneath the deck, we have the World reversed. So, with the root of the reading being the Ace of Cups reversed, and the challenge of that being the 5 of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups reversed is emotions blocked. So, this is definitely talking about the ways in which your capacity for love is blocked by either a scarcity mindset, where maybe experiences in the past are just how you are. You keep yourself safe by being very mindful of with who and where you are dispensing your energy. And with strength in the past, this idea of restraint, yes, but also there's a strength that's been gained through your experiences in the past, and it's through those experiences that you're where you're at now, where it's kind of like you keeping yourself safe by not allowing yourself the risk of anything new. Again, because of that scarcity mindset where you're not willing to take the risk. It's not, you feel like you cannot emotionally afford to let anything new come in. In the near future, we have judgment, which indicates that there is going to come an opportunity where you'll become aware of what is being blocked, what you're blocking for yourself. But the message of this reading is that you need only step into a new way of looking at things. It's like judgment here and the rest of the cards, and I'll come back to judgment at the end because it's really important. But what judgment is basically saying is you've done all the internal work necessary for you to understand things the way that they need to be understood, and it's really only a matter of you having the necessary experience or the necessary breakthrough, and then you'll understand what it's all been about, and you're like, oh, okay, all of this makes sense. I digress. I'll get back to why I'm saying that. But again, with judgment being in the near future, it's this opportunity to really take all of this into consideration, this blocking that you do, and love in general, and how you want to move in this energy moving forward in your life. That's what judgment is. In your conscious mind, we have the Nine of Swords, which again, like I said, when I was lifting it, what came to mind was anxiety. What's in your waking mind, what's in your conscious mind is anxiety. Likely about love in general, but also likely because there might have been, because of this awareness that might be happening, where you are starting to realize, you might already be seeing the ways in which this is a problem for you, and not like you're the problem, but just this is something that you're ready to take on, and that's causing you anxiety because you're realizing the cost of it. And so then, if that's the case, if this anxiety is something you're already aware of, judgment is this reading telling you that you'll have more opportunities to demonstrate where you're at, how you really feel. But I'll come back to the Nine of Swords, because I do have a lot to say about that too. The Ace of Wands in the subconscious mind, and it's reversed. First of all, the Ace of Wands upwards is fire, our inner fire, motivation, spirituality. In a love reading, however, and the way it really came across to me when I flipped it over, traditionally, one of the interpretations for the Ace of Wands is because it looks like a phallic object and there's a hand wrapped around it. You know, it can indicate our lusty feelings for another person, or just our capacity for lust. There we go. And so that it's reversed, subconsciously there is this blockage of sexual energy. So this could mean a whole bunch of different things. This could mean that, just an example, and I'll give more. On the one end of the spectrum, this could kind of be that subconsciously there's something to your sexuality that needs to be addressed, and that this sexuality thing that needs to be addressed is a big part of where this blockage comes from, why you're not comfortable in pursuing, because you haven't addressed something in the subconscious mind that has to do with your sexuality, as to and when you dig deep and do the work there, things might start to make sense as to why you're so comfortable blocking things out, and why you don't really want to step into like joy in love. Now, if that isn't the case, on another end of the spectrum, the Ace of Wands reversed is just an aversion to sex, or I was gonna say an abstinence from it, but abstinence itself is like abstinence from sex, but just staying away from it for whatever reason. We obviously are we've been living through times where we did have to like be in separation from people, and there are still people who are continuing that. Whatever the case is, there's this sense of subconsciously there's this acceptance of this piece of you not feeling those things. Whatever the case is, in the subconscious mind there exists this blockage of sexual energy, again, whatever that means for you. And I wanted to get down to this because we start with the Ace of Cups reversed, and we have in the subconscious mind the Ace of Wands reversed, and there's a lot of duality throughout the rest of the spread, like the Two of Swords holding two energies. The Six of Pentacles is symmetric in the sense that it has these two figures on the sides, and then even these two cards are symmetrical the way that these three cards landed, so like dual energies. The World card itself, they're handling two wands, two energies. It's about like handling binary energies. So there's a lot to this message of you learning how to combine your emotional matter and your sexual matter, where it's one of the things that I'm getting from that. It's like, it's either that you need to accept that at this point in life, you need an emotional connection in order to feel a sexual connection. On another end of the spectrum, the emotional reasonings behind this sexual blockage. And there needing to be a harmony between these two things in order for there to be a progression in love, basically. The Two of Swords, which is representing you in your love life, the hesitation, the way you're not really willing to open your eyes or yourself to these new opportunities, because of all of the things that you need to weigh, which again might be in that work that we're talking about here in the subconscious mind, and the handling of this emotional and sexual matter, and really figuring out what that means. The light is blocking it, but here, I'll hold it here so you can see it. The water pretty much kind of being a symbol for your mind and you reflecting on it. And, it's not still water. There's ripples, there's movement there. So, and the blindfold could be about you not focusing on anything but this work of managing and bringing into harmony these dual energies. Now, the environment itself, your love life itself, is being represented by the Nine of Cups, which is another dual thing, because we have the Nine of Swords in your conscious mind. This is the energy that you're consciously bringing into your love life, and the reality of your love life is the Nine of Cups. What I'm seeing by that is that it's safe for you to love. Now, if there's someone in your environment that feels really safe, where they're trying to come in and you don't want to give them a shot because of all of these things, this Nine of Cups here again is indicating that it's safe for you to explore that. But if it's not that, then it's really bringing you into question of how real are your anxieties? When were those anxieties established? And how much have you grown since those anxieties were established? And why it's important to answer that is so that you can gauge how much better you are at handling the anxieties that you've been carrying with you, basically. So another thing that I want to mention with the nines is we start again with these aces, right? And aces are 1, the first card of the 1 through 10 cards of the minor suits. So they represent 1. And we have 2 nines. What I'm kind of getting from that is that you need to be careful of where you are placing your energy, because 1 + 9 = 10. So it's like a completion. It's a making whole of the energy, like a merging of energies, which is basically what we're talking about here. So are you placing your emotional energy, your sexual energy, through a lens of anxiety? Or are you ready to place them through a lens of joy, of searching, reaching, and, placing effort into the things that you want, which is, in the context of this love reading, like romance, love. So it's like the anxiety that you feel, of course, honor that and pay attention to it, but also question it to see how realistic it is, because your love life itself, again, is being reflected by this 9 of Cups, which is a card of joy. And it's just, we have the Ace of Cups here. So with this ace, with this is at the root, the Ace of Cups, even though it's reversed, it's at the root. So this capacity for love, this longing for love, this wanting for it, for something new to sprout, the environment is ready for that. It's ready for you to bring that in. It's just waiting on you and your hesitation, which there's nothing wrong with that. Take all the time you need, but understand that love is basically ready for you. In the hopes and fears position, we have the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is traditionally associated with nostalgia and the past. Sure, one interpretation can be that you're hopeful. Actually, no, I don't want to interpret it that way because that doesn't really make sense. What I'm basically getting from it is, or what I was basically getting from it the whole time, was that the Six of Cups is that you're hopeful for someone in your past, but you're also afraid of that. Afraid of things turning out the way that they did, or honestly, maybe it's like you're hopeful because you're comfortable for this person, but you're afraid because you know what it means to be with this person. And if that's not true, then it's about there being a hope for a love like one you've had in the past, but fearing for the bad aspects of that happening again. Whatever the case is, if it's true that you're kind of looking at someone in the past, the final outcome is indicating that you shouldn't really pay attention to anyone in the past, especially if you can link them directly to these anxieties. And because if you can link them also to this scarcity mindset, that's the reasoning for this blockage of new love. Because the scarcity mindset is established by the Five of Pentacles, and then the final outcome is the Six of Pentacles, so this growth from that. And the Six of Pentacles is also a shift from the Six of Cups, so moving from an emotional state in the Six of Cups and the hopes and fears down into Pentacles in the final outcome, where it's like, be real about it, be real about this thing that you're nostalgic for. And when you're real about it, you'll realize that all these energies are blocked. If that's not true, if there's no one in your past that you're looking at, what the final outcome is saying is, and it's a complete 180 from that first interpretation, it's that your fear of things going wrong like they did in the past, if that's the fear here, the shift is still moving from Cups, emotional matter, to Pentacles, the material realm. So again, be real. Stop fooling yourself. You have the wisdom, you've grown, you know better now. It's not going to happen that way again because you know not to let it happen that way again. The Six of Pentacles is an energy of dispensing our energy in a way that we've learned is the best, in a way that preserves energy for ourselves, while also understanding that we have to budget some of that energy for others. And when you learn to do that, and that growth of learning how to dispense your energy in a way that meets your intentions, that is a growth, 6, from this scarcity mindset, 5. And 5 to 6 is one number apart. So again, the aces that we're talking about here, where when you really start to focus on the emotional blockages and the sexual blockages, that's when you'll grow in, through that work, you'll learn what it means to protect your energy and therefore learn how to dispense it wisely. And there's something that's one magical thing that's going to happen when you learn how to do this, is that you'll have options, because look at these people on their knees for the central figure, and look at how the reversals then show these knights coming in towards you here at the center. Now, yeah, these two knights reversed, I am seeing as knights rushing to you because they see your value. But these blockages are also indicating, in this final outcome, the danger there exists in, if you aren't going to do this work of digging into these emotional blockages and the blocked sexual energy, if you're not going to do that work, you're not going to progress, because the knights are action, and reverse, then that action is blocked. There is no progression. It's like the Knight of Cups, so that tracks with the Cups card, and it's the Knight of Swords, which isn't the Ace of Wands, but the Wands and the Knights are both quick energy, and it's what I'm kind of interpreting with it being a swords card here is that you allow your anxiety to win. You allow your conscious fears to win out, and that's kind of the blockage to this ultimate you, where you've learned how to dispense your energy correctly and wisely. If you don't do this work, there won't be a progression nights, there won't be blocked a progression nights into this ultimate version of yourself where you learn how to dispense this properly. And you'll only continue, like, if you don't do this work and you step into romance, you'll only continue and perpetuate this scarcity mindset. And if you don't step into romance, then you're continuing to perpetuate this anxiety, and there'll be no progress, basically. And that's what the world reversed at the bottom of the deck is basically saying about this whole reading, is that blocked, you aren't combining these energies successfully. The world is the last card of the major arcana, so there's the finish line is there, but you don't have the clarity yet you haven't stepped into the clarity enough to really see the ways in which you're really ready to, because 2021, this is the card that precedes the world. So again, that's why I was saying, like, in the near future, you're going to realize you're ready to step into this new state of being where you've done the work here. And honestly, with the world and judgment here, it's like there's not even a lot of digging that you have to do here. It's more so just about accepting it and seeing things clearly and accepting yourself for whatever this is indicating. And when you do that, then she's holding, 2 wands, holding these 2 aces. Successful union, successful harmony, successful internal harmony. And that's available for you. And it's only coming up blocked because as of right now, you don't see it all quite clearly quite yet. And that's okay. You're on your way there. It's again just about you stepping into it. Just trust yourself. Trust and love. You're gonna, I don't want to say you're gonna be fine, because I can't promise that. But the point is, it's right there in front of you. It's just a matter of you stepping into it confidently and understanding, with what we're learning here, that the past is the past, and it gains us a lot of wonderful information, useful information that we should utilize. But it is also our responsibility to leave the past where it belongs and step into the future where we belong. I hope that this helped. I will catch you on the next one. Bye. Hello, pile 3, and welcome to your love reading. For you, we have the 5 of Pentacles reversed. The challenge is the 9 of Pentacles. Wow. In the past, we have the King of Pentacles reversed. Okay. In the near future, the 5 of Cups reversed. In your conscious mind, we have the Page of Wands reversed. In your subconscious mind, the 5 of Wands reversed. This is shaping up to be pretty clear. How you're standing in love, in your love life. The 8 of Pentacles. Okay, interesting. Your love life is being represented by the 6 of Wands. Excellent. Okay. Your hope and your fear is represented by the Fool reversed. And your final outcome is being represented by the Star, the Page of Pentacles reversed, and the Knight of Cups reversed. Underneath the deck was the Knight of Swords. At the root of your reading, we have the Five of Pentacles reversed. Now, this is a love reading, but allow me to speak in terms of money as to like start off, and then I'll translate that into what that means in the context of romance. But I want to focus on this money kind of metaphor because the first three cards are pentacles, and we also end with the Pentacles card. So the Five of Pentacles upwards demonstrates poverty and tribulation, something that is hard to maneuver through. And so, here at the root of this reading, it's like the root of it is scarcity. And so it coming up reversed is you ready for this to come to a close. This scarcity, this poverty, this the tribulation that you've known up until now. The challenge is the card of wealth itself. The Nine of Pentacles is the card of wealth, and wealth established over a long period of time. So you are trying to get out of poverty. The challenge is wealth itself. Pretty clear cut, right? That's a nice, combination of cards. Wanting to get out of poverty and the challenge being acquiring wealth. In the past, we have the King of Pentacles reversed, and the King of Pentacles upwards is a master of the, money. So this is someone very, very wealthy. And so reversed, it's, the opposite of someone wealthy, poverty in the past. So poverty, like all of these three cards indicating pointing to the scarcity that you've experienced in the past, the scarcity you're trying to get out of, and the challenge of acquiring enough wealth to get out of this scarcity. Now, again, this is a love reading. We're not talking about money. We're talking about love. And so scarcity in love in the past, one that's likely been going on for a long time, if not lifelong, where you've never really had the experience of love or allowed it in, whatever the case is, this scarcity that has existed for you in the past for however long it has been, and you now being ready to make the proper steps towards acquiring enough emotional stability and abundance to be able to offer your heart and your love to someone else. The problem is that although you want for these things to happen, there does seem to be a lack of courage on your part, because in your conscious mind, we have the Page of Wands reversed. The Page of Wands upwards is in a barren desert, but he has a magic wand. And he is they are simply focused on their magic wand, and they understand that they have nothing to fear. They don't have a backpack, they don't have anything, so they don't have food or water, and they're just out here by themselves, and they don't care because they know so long as they have faith in what they wield and possess, your talents, your gifts, so long as you have faith in that, it's about having the faith in those things to know that you'll never go without. Reverse, then, it's the hesitation of wielding your power, your talent in a way that isn't tainted by your fear. And in the subconscious mind, we have the Five of Wands reversed. The Five of Wands upwards is a being willing to put ourselves out there, to kind of, if you've ever if you played sports in school, or like when you were a kid and you played on the playground, you kind of had to lose your fear of getting hit in order to play properly. This is that energy. Like, it's not violent confrontation, it's just the willingness to get hit and rough it out and take the punches, just because it's not because it's rough, but just because you understand you're willing to take these things and dish them out as well. So then reversed, it's again an unwillingness to participate, an unwillingness to risk interaction, getting hurt, whatever the case is. So these two wands cards reversed, which are both attached to like where your mind is at, a lack of spirit, of fire, of motivation where it comes to the mind. Your heart might be ready for these things, but your mind is kind of stuck in what I've heard called analysis paralysis, where you're hyper focused on analyzing things instead of just feeling your way through it. And in the near future, we see a shift from the Five of Pentacles and then later the Five of Wands, now into the Five of Cups, and this is the one that's upwards. And what's wonderful about this is that here on this side, the cross indicates the past, and this is the card that kind of shifts us over into looking at the future. And that shift from reversed fives into an upwards five, and that this five is the Five of Cups, which indicates leaving things in the past, allowing space and time to properly process what there is to process and to be felt, in order to, after you're done processing, pick up what is left standing, cross the bridge, get over this, and go home. And go home because it's in the back, but towards your future is what I mean. And so in the near future, like, although there is this analysis paralysis, there will come this breakthrough where your heart basically wins out this battle against the mind, and it's very it is fueled by the desire for more that's being indicated here by these first three cards. But more than that these three cards are pentacles, which indicates the material realm, so your everyday life, and that we're shifting into this victory through a emotional breakthrough. There's very likely something in your reality that is not forcing, but really enabling this breakthrough. So you've likely seen something happen in the material realm, maybe like a disappointment, or maybe there's someone that you're really attracted to now that you're seeing all the time. So it's like, okay, if I want to make myself available for those things, I need to start doing the work to move past this into a future where I'm no longer held back by the weight of these things that have been spilled, this scarcity that has existed in the past, because there are things within me left standing, left to offer to myself and then to others. I'm ready to now cross the bridge to get over these things and go towards where I want to go. And that's why you, in the context of your love life, you're being represented by the Eight of Pentacles, which is working, doing the work, doing the labor, the emotional labor for yourself, creating habits that replace these behaviors in the past that you've maintained. But more than that, the Eight of Pentacles is the card that precedes the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles being the wealth acquired over time, the Eight of Pentacles is you doing the labor that over time will generate the wealth that we're talking about, not only in the Nine of Pentacles, but in the King of Pentacles as well. So a wealth that you've never known, a wealth that you've never had access to, you are now creating, because you're willing to step into places you've never stepped into, because you're willing to shift, be led by your heart, to shift through this emotional, to shift out of this paralysis and to be willing to work through this emotional labor, basically. And your love life is being represented by the card of victory, the Six of Wands. So again, another shift where this, oh my God, what's the word? Your aversion to wanting to participate shifting into a confidence, because you're going to start to see, as you're doing this work, that there really isn't anything to fear, that your love life has been kind of waiting for you to step into it. And you'll see as you step more into it that there isn't as much resistance as you might have received in the past, or as you've kind of made up for yourself in your head. Because that depends on your situation. I don't know which one's true, but whatever the case is, your love life is now kind of coaxing you out, asking you to come out, because it's safe. Basically, victory is kind of waiting for you, so long as you stick to your work and understanding why it is that you're motivated to do this work once. So courage, because victory also requires courage. And so the next card is the hope and fear, and it's the Fool reversed. And what's incredible about that is that the Six of Wands, which is preceding this card, is about victory and courage, and the next card, the position in itself, is hopes and fears. And the Fool also is about courage, because this is someone who has so much faith and so much just there's just this fearlessness that exists with the Fool, that they don't even have to look where they're going. Even though they might fall down, they just trust that they're going to land okay. And so reversed, you're hoping, there's, again, because of this paralysis, and wands is in this reading indicating your hesitation, your fear, right? And in the Fool, he's holding a wand and it's coming up reversed. So on the one hand, you're hoping not to do all of this work because it would basically move you from your place of comfort. So it's like, I don't want to do all this work because holy shit, what if it actually works? What if I get what I want and I actually, get the love of my life, basically? But at the same time, your fear is that you'll never move. Your fear is also, like, as much as you're afraid to move, you're also terrified that you're going to prove yourself a coward and never move forward and never actually take steps towards love and romance and allowing yourself to step into an entirely new existence, one where this scarcity is long gone and in the past, because the Fool upwards is one of stepping into new cycles, stepping into the new cycles we're creating. So when it's upwards, stepping into this energy of victory and labor and creation of wealth. Reversed, not stepping into that at all. And so in the final outcome, we have the Star, the Page of Pentacles reversed, and the Knight of Cups reversed. So a whole bunch of things that I'm getting from these three cards, but to continue from where we left off with the Fool reversed, that lack of courage is also represented by the Page of Pentacles reversed, because it's an echo to this reversed page, 2 pages reversed. But where this page reversed is a lack, because it's a Page of Wands, it's a lack of faith in self, in love, in just knowing that things are going to be okay. Two novices holding wands, the Fool and the Page of Wands reversed. That is represented by you not demonstrating. Okay, let me rephrase that. The lack of courage that is being represented by the Page of Wands and the Fool reversed is being shown in the Page of Pentacles reversed as, if you don't do this work, the final outcome will be you not, like, there's going to come an opportunity where you'll be able to demonstrate all of this work that you're doing, the courage that you've been working on, the fact that you're willing to step into something. But if you continue to kind of just, okay, there's a lot of meaning for the stars, but I'm reading it within the context of this reading, and I'm looking at the Star as you just kind of indulging yourself, you kind of ignoring the work that's here behind her for the sake of, maintaining your staying here in this comfortable place where you can just be by yourself, not really allowing anybody else in. And that's important. There are definitely periods of time when we need that. I mean, continue to maintain that throughout your life. It's really important. But there's obviously a desire to now move beyond just focus on the self. And so the Star here is it's representing the focus on the self, which, we now understand we're ready to want for more, basically. But if we continue this energy that we've maintained, basically, that will demonstrate to the world around us that we aren't taking this courage that we're being kind of pushed towards, and we'll never make moves towards love. Knight of Cups reversed, Knight action, Cups emotions, love. So that's one of the messages that I'm getting from your final outcome, is that if you continue what you're doing now of just, okay, look at how the Five of Cups is focused on what's spilled. But what we got from it here in this position is that there's a willingness to do this work for the purpose of moving on from it. The Star taking it from minor to major, it's you normalizing the focus on what you've lost, the focus on your scarcity, instead of eventually turning around and picking up what there is to be picked up and moving away from like this river, this body of water. So again, turning around and facing the future. One message again that I'm getting, that's the first message that I'm getting from your final outcome. The second is that if you continue to indulge in, again, these behaviors and really not move forward, look at how these two figures are pointed towards her, like they're searching for her, they're pining for her, they have something to offer her. They have something to offer you, but they're reversed. You're blocking them out. You're not even paying attention to them. So another thing that I'm getting, and it's supported by how your love life is being represented by victory, there's options for you. There's people who have literally been waiting for you to become available, and you're so blind to it because of this analysis paralysis. You're so focused on yourself that you are entirely blind to the effect you're having on multiple people. And I'm saying multiple people because we have two types of core cards. So like people younger than you look up to you, and people your age are like really impressed by you. So like there are people who are just really, really impressed with you, but they see how like you're closed off. They're probably also recognizing how you're ready to do the work. And as you do that, if you do demonstrate it, to move into the third message, if you do demonstrate this courage that you're working on, if you do bring all of these lessons into the material realm with the Page of Pentacles now upwards, then you will be able to make moves, emotional moves, successful emotional moves. Look how they parallel. Successful emotional moves towards the future, away from this state where you've been currently and up until now. Underneath the deck, the Knight of Swords, and this is the only swords card in the whole spread here, which indicates to me like what you really need, what you're really being called to do, is to just go for it. To stop being so afraid, being like this Knight of Swords, no think, no thoughts, just action, just go. Like the Fool kind of also represents like the hope and the fear of you not wanting to move. So then the advice being, go for it, like just go for it. Stop thinking too much, just go. Where you step, there will be victory. Like stop doubting yourself, stop doubting love, and take your leap of faith. And on that note, my friend, I wish you all the best. I am sending you all my hugs. Godspeed.